Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Rod Santamassimo of the Massimo Group, and our very special guest today is Mr. Matthew Laborde. Now, I'm contrary to what you probably were thinking, Matthew and I did not call each other and say, "What are you wearing?" that wasn't the goal.
Got the black suit.
But Matthew, I will tell you, when I got dressed this morning for this event, I did know that you are a dark suit, red tie guy in general. So I said, you know what? I got to at least honor you by putting on a similar outfit. And later this afternoon, you and I could both announce our candidacy for some party for some president. Yes, we'll figure that out.
Consider me honored.
But let's get going. Folks, the way this is going to work is we're going to dive deep with Matthew in regards to what he's doing, how he's creating such an amazing presence, and the impact it has had on his firm. And that's the whole point, right? It's one thing to say, hey, go start posting and doing this. More importantly, what does that translate to? The impact on his firm, we'll talk about as well. And as you hang around, what I'm going to do, of course, is I'm going to give you an opportunity to meet personally with Matt and myself and some other folks next month in a very exclusive opportunity. And if you hold on, I'm going to give you some bonus items as well. So hold on, get great value, get some bonus items, get some ways you can improve your practice, and we can move forward. So for that said, use the question and answer box for any questions you have. We will get to as many as possible at the end of the session, not before. Matthew, as always,
Yes.
great speaking with you.
Thank you so much for having me, Rod. I am excited about today's topic.
Well, I would normally tell you, folks, hey, Matthew, we have folks from all over the United States online with us today, but we know it's not true. We have folks all over the world online with us today. So Matthew, let's get right to it. Those who don't know you, give us a little background. In fact, I'm going to go, because they say you can learn a lot about a person by looking at who they were when they were a kid. So before the professional Matthew, what was Matthew like in junior high and high school? What were your hobbies? What were you doing?
So I was, in high school, voted biggest procrastinator out of my whole class. And I don't think I read a book throughout all of high school until senior year. So I managed to get through with Spark Notes and everything. So I was very uninterested in school, really didn't like authority too much, wanted to do my own thing.
What did you do for fun?
I played soccer.
Soccer. You were a soccer player. Okay. So we have a soccer player there that's doing his own thing, didn't like reading books. So how the heck did you get to college, given that lack of interest?
So I had a great teacher who told me to read business books because that's what I was interested in. I read The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump, and which gets a completely different reaction now than it did 10 years ago. But I just said, hey, I'm going to get started in this. So at 19, got licensed, became a commercial real estate agent.
Was it all based on Trump's Art of the Deal?
In a way, I guess so.
In our Trump-like outfits today, that's very appropriate. But I too, of course, at a much older age than you, read Art of the Deal, which was a good book. It was a good book. Where you read it, you can read it again. You go, oh, okay, the market has changed. Okay, so we got this guy, business books, goes to college. Where did you go to college, and what was your college experience like?
I went to LSU. In my college experience, so I was a full-time student and full-time broker at the age of 19. I just poured myself into commercial real estate and didn't do as much school as I probably should have. So I stayed enrolled, but I didn't go to class. And I just focused on, just lived at the commercial real estate office. By 22, I was second in production at the firm, had my own assistant that I paid their salary, and was just rolling.
Okay, so for all you folks out there, let's repeat that. You were a full-time student at LSU, but you're also a full-time broker at a firm, your first firm, not your firm, but a firm, getting a mentor, and within 3 years, you were the second highest producer at the firm.
Yeah, and this is probably the second largest firm in the state. So it was 50 people. So it's good, 50 agents.
Okay, so for those folks that are joining us and saying, what the heck was he doing? What do you attribute? So Matthew, how long have you been doing this now?
I'm in my 11th year.
Okay, so when you had your first success, social media wasn't even around, quite frankly. It
No.
wasn't a platform. So what do you attribute your early success to? Because today you're leveraging other technology, but back then, what do you attribute your early success to?
So I still attribute it to technology and being able to utilize that technology before anybody else in the game. So if you think about it, back then, 10 years ago, ownership was just coming online, like being able to do quick research on ownership and sales information, at least here in Louisiana. And so before that, it was, you had to go to the clerk of court. It was a intensive process. So I would blow these older commercial real estate agent people's mind by being able to get them answers like that, right? Because they didn't understand. And that I leveraged the relationships and the accounts and the age and expertise of a lot of the other people in the office. And I just supported the hell out of them and did whatever they wanted me to do, no matter what, walk the dog, house sat for free just to get brought in on deals. I go from making very little to all of a sudden all these deals close, that I worked my way in on. And it's like, whoa, he's making way too much money. So.
Well, that is phenomenal. And for those basically, if you're just starting out, that's the way to start out. You do the grunt work and you volunteer and you do it for free. You get a little piece of a deal, and before you know it, you'll learn a hell of a lot more than maybe you're compensated for, but you're learning the entire way, and that's the compensation from that standpoint. So really interesting, Matthew. You learn to leverage technology. So everyone, don't forget, you have that question and answer box down below. The Q&A box is where you ask questions of Matthew and I, and we're going to get to that and all of you what you're doing as well. Okay, Matthew, so you graduated from LSU. You got some success. I'll see you continue on with commercial real estate. How long are you with this existing firm, and what changes do you see happening? Now, what year is this, by the way, when you graduate?
So I didn't graduate.
Oh, you didn't graduate. Okay.
You're a dropout. Well, voted biggest procrastinator, dropped out of college. Here I am.
I love it. I love it. So what year did you drop out?
Well, I faded out. I just stopped going to class. And so, it's probably I should have graduated in 2012.
Got it. Okay, yeah. Fantastic. Hey, Matthew, I just got a comment that a gentleman named George Bonbillion, is that correct?
Yeah.
Give you a hard time. He says he can't wait to meet you. So,
wow, George.
So thanks for the comment, George. So, okay, so should have been 2012. So obviously you were going to school while the market was shifting overall, but yet you still found success. Think enough. For those who don't know, relate to this, folks. Most of you on this call, I recognize most of your names. You had a success when the market really wasn't, let's face it, at its peak, correct?
Right. And that was the best time because people were laying off staff. Successful brokers were laying off staff and they needed some support, right? They weren't good at making flyers, weren't quick at it, weren't anything. So I was able to do that for free, right? Very attractive proposition, except you're going to bring me in on the deal. And so that's how I went from making not much to all of a sudden these deals are closing, making a lot.
Okay. Again, this is incredible insight and lessons for everyone. When the market shifts, what can you do to get in deals, right? Whether you're starting out or you're a seasoned veteran, this is what it's going to take. And again, doesn't matter if you had a high school a college education or not, there are roads to success as long as you're dedicated. And Matthew, obviously reading business books in high school was one of the pathways to his success. Okay, Matthew, take us through your career before social media. How did you start growing your own personal development? Where were you and what were you doing?
Yeah, so I really partnered with a lot of the senior guys at the firm, particularly the principal at the firm I was with, and just learned as much as I could from him, and was very fortunate to work on a lot of big accounts with him and learn a ton.
Okay, and so it came a time where you said, you know what? I probably can do this on my own, right?
Yes.
Why did you make that decision, and how long ago was that decision made?
So this would be, at the end of this month, it'll be 3 years that I started Elifin. And that decision came, I never had any interest in doing it, but someone brought me to lunch and they told me out of nowhere, guy I didn't really know, they said God told them to take me to lunch and tell me I needed to start my own firm. And so, what do you do? I was flattered. Didn't think much of it. I kind of thought, who's this guy, right? And but some things happened the next month, and I was like, whatever, I'm going to do it. So I did it.
Okay. Now, there's a couple of questions here. Prior to starting your own firm, were you really leveraging social media before then?
I wasn't. No.
You weren't. Okay. So the obvious question, people are saying, did he say Elifin? What is the name of your firm?
So the name of the firm is Elifin. It's Elifin. Elifin.
Now I know what it stands for, but share with us why that name. What does it stand for?
So it stands for Elite, ELI, Financial, FIN. And the reason for that name is when I was at my old firm and at the beginning of Elifin, over 50% of our business was for financial institutions. So when banks would foreclose on commercial real estate or need, maybe they bought another bank and there was a lot of, excess facilities, surplus facilities, we'd go and sell them for the bank or find them offices, find them new branch sites. So we're doing that all over the Southeast. It's a kind of a rare niche. So that's how we came up with the name.
Okay. And you say was there we or just you?
It was just me at that point. But we had our office manager who's been there since day one of Elifin, and she is amazing.
Okay. Heck, when we start the Massimo Group 11 years ago, it was me, right? And my wife and my bride, of course. But so it's different today, obviously. So awesome. That's just awesome, Matthew. So let's then get to what was the vision of Elifin, because I know where you all are today and the market share you have and what you've created. So what market do you serve and what was the mission when you started out?
So when we started, we're totally confused, right? So when I decided to start a new company, and by the time we opened the doors, it was a few months, it was like 3 or 4 months, very quick, right? Not a whole lot of planning. Maybe should have done a little bit more planning, but over that first year of the business, we really figured out who we are as a company and what direction we wanted to go. So we focus on the Baton Rouge MSA, and we have all different property types. There's this guy named Rod Santamassimo. He wrote these series of articles. It's like, if I were to start a brokerage, I would do blank. And it was like 4-part, 5-part series. And I've got that pinned on my wall, and Elifin is modeled a lot off of that.
Well, hey, one person read the article. That makes me happy. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And, and if anything, we always make sure we're transparent. So those who don't know who the Massimo Group is or what we do, we're a commercial real estate focused coaching company. We work with agents, individuals and their teams, not necessarily companies. That's our consulting division does that. But Matthew is in fact a client of ours and has been a client for a while. So just to put it out there, let you all know, we do work together from that realm. Our coaches coach Matthew. So, okay, Matthew, so you start this company. When does this idea of testing social media come to mind?
I would say we really started going hard on social media about a year and a half ago. And it was like, why not? It's a platform right there. We just kind of dipped our toe into it at first. Did it really, not in any kind of structured or organized or methodical way. We just started posting, see what got reactions, took it from there.
Okay, so that's interesting. So a lot of folks on the call with us today really haven't put their toe in the water yet, or they probably think I'm not going to waste my time because social media does not work, right? And we're going to share with you, and not argue with you, but logistically share with you why it works and how it works and prove it works. But what was your first test? I mean, did you use Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram? What were you using? Facebook.
Yeah, I used Facebook. That was the platform I was on and majority in personally. So that's where I started. And, you know, I had done that, I say a year and a half ago, but when I started the firm, those Facebook posts, social media posts got a huge amount of attention. So that kind of planted the seeds. And then when we really started to post regularly, not just big monumental events with the business, that's when it started to pick up.
Okay. And what does that mean by pick up? And from just a translation of how do you decide? Is it likes? Is it comments? Is it what defines for you it
Yeah.
picked up?
Yeah. So it's just the presence, awareness, and the referrals that we get from being top of mind. So, people like, comment on your posts, and then all of a sudden someone asks them, hey, who would you use for a commercial real estate agent? Well, you're top of mind, so they mention you. So that's been huge for us.
Okay. So let's talk about your market then. What market you're in? What's the size of the market?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, size, it's about 840,000 people in the MSA.
Okay. Perfect. And how many folks do you have in your firm now?
We have 11.
So 11-person firm in just 3 years, which is quite impressive in itself. That's awesome, Matthew. 11-person firm in 3 years. How old are you today?
29. About to be 30.
Oh man, I can only imagine if I was 29 again. But anyway, so you think about this. Everyone listening to this young man, Matthew, I'm sorry, you are a young man. Young man had a vision, create a dream, right? Make it, convert it to reality. 11-person firm. So a couple of things going on now. Your firm, and you also do, but your firm and your team members who we've worked with in the past as well, they're all starting to get involved in this social media play. So one question I get from a lot of brokerage owners who fear social media is, how can I control my guys or my guys and ladies? How can I control them in regards to what they say? Because they reflect on me. So do you have a company policy? I mean, how do you control them?
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
We hire good people, right? We don't control our guys or gals. We just hire good people. So they let them be themselves. The biggest thing is to be authentic, right? So we're a young company. It's all millennials, right? All millennials for the most part, or like whatever is past millennials, right? Whatever's younger. But if you look at this, we're all specialists. Our office specialist, George, he is the number 2 agent in terms of number of listings in Baton Rouge, in the office market in Baton Rouge. Been in the business a year and a half. Will, he's the retail specialist. He's been in the business 7 months. He is the number 2 agent in terms of number of listings in the Baton Rouge MSA. Number 1's been in the business 18 years. Mark Zagala, he is multifamily specialist. He has the number 1 most multifamily listings in the Baton Rouge MSA out of any agent whatsoever. He graduated college 4 months ago. So that's presence, man. Social media.
Well, that and good coaching. No.
Great coaching.
I'm sorry, folks, but when I hear that, I'm like a proud daddy because all those guys we've worked with, and I'm so thrilled with the success they're having. But it's about what they're doing, leveraging their presence. Obviously, someone's saying, "Wait a minute," and this is the issue because I want you all to understand this. I remember, this is true, years ago, and I mean, back when I was taking phone calls for the Massimo Group and selling myself, I was a sales, marketing, Matthew, you've been there, finance, we've been the janitors, we've been everything, right? So when I first started out, a gentleman called me one night and said, I think I need coaching. And I asked him, why I said it is. Now, it turns out he was a CCIM, or he is, CCIM, SIOR combination. So obviously he knows what the heck he's talking about, right? He just does. He has the lineage, has the education, has the experience to reach those designations. I asked him, why do you think you need a coach? And his response 8 years ago was, those damn kids are taking my market share. And so I chuckled and said, yeah, the market shifted. It's starting to shift. Matthew, you and your team are those damn kids taking
We're the
market
kids.
share.
That's what I was thinking. We're the damn kids.
You're those damn kids taking market share.
Yeah.
You are. You absolutely
Guess
are.
that.
So let's dive into this a little bit and talk about social media and what you do. And I think you used the word that's so critically important when you said authentic.
Yes.
And certainly we'll dive into this in about, and when we're live, you know, I dive much deeper into the actual post and everything else. But for the essence of this time we have together, and by the way, someone just joined us from New Zealand, Matthew, I don't know if you saw that as well. So we got New Zealand, we got South Africa, and then we got all over North America. Awesome, Matthew. You attract a great audience.
Amazing.
It must be your reach on social media. That must be it.
Right?
So let's talk about your first favorite was Facebook, and you found success with that. Is that still your favorite today?
Facebook and LinkedIn.
Facebook and LinkedIn.
General rule, we go where the old people are, right? Just kidding. That's a joke. But we go with where the more mature professional audience is, and that's generally speaking Facebook and LinkedIn, and we get great exposure there.
Okay, so well, Matthew, in all due respect, anyone compared to you is gonna be old, so that's okay. And they're gonna be the clients, the prospects, the influence that you need to reach, get your message out. Makes total sense. Facebook, LinkedIn. Have you seen a shift? Because we definitely have, and we'll talk about what we're doing and what we're doing differently. But have you seen a shift at all between Facebook and LinkedIn?
Yeah, absolutely. So LinkedIn is incredible for reaching out on a professional basis to commercial real estate agents and everybody that might have inbound referrals. LinkedIn is incredible in terms of the organic reach that you get, the free reach of your posts.
Yeah, it is incredible. Now from a advertising standpoint, and for those, and we advertise, it is exponentially more expensive than Facebook. It is, but the return on investment we're finding so far is actually better than Facebook for us, at least for us. Okay, we are a slightly different audience, but it's still a more mature audience, and it is expensive. I get that, but organically, you all listening, you all should be posting organically, and that means not paying for ads, organically on LinkedIn and Facebook today. That's going to shift in years from now. It might. In fact, the algorithms of Facebook have changed so much, it makes the reach just harder. And they actually are starting to police more than ever before in regards to what you can and cannot put out there. Even they've actually just took one of our audiences, which we had an audience of CCIMs. And they said no more. You can't reach them anymore for a variety of reasons they didn't want us to. So it's interesting what Facebook is starting to do now, where LinkedIn hasn't gotten there yet. So LinkedIn we're finding more valuable. Now, understand whenever you all start posting, and Matthew, you know this, audiences will follow you as you create your presence. So if you tell your audience one day, not today, and not for a couple of years at least, if not longer, hey, Facebook fans or followers or whatever, check out my TikTok account or this account or XYZ account, they will follow you. So don't worry about platforms dissolving or expanding or contraction as an excuse not to get involved. That's all as an excuse.
You got to use it while it's here. You got to strike where the iron's hot.
You got to strike where the iron's hot. So Matthew, questions coming in. They want to know, so give us an example of and we certainly, I could show some posts, but I'm not going to really do that quite. I can bring some up, I'm not going to do that quite yet, but because you do some unique things, you do, and we'll talk about those.
Yeah.
But what do you post and how often do you post?
Yeah. So I'll take the first question. So what do I post? So the big thing that we try to focus on is, because keep in mind, we got over 100 listings, an office of 11 people, got a lot to do, don't have a lot of time to go create social media content. So what we do, instead of create content, we document. So we try to take out pieces of our day and film that or write about it or whatever it is and post that. Okay. So I'll give you an example. I have an intern. His name's Paul Casisa, so much more than an intern. Guy's got great personality and he has 1 million questions a day. I'm not kidding. 1 million questions. and he'll just boom, boom, one after the other. And it's like, whoa, Paul, it's exhausting. Well, one day, I'm thinking documenting, not creating. One day I say, Paul, hold up. We're going to film this. We're going to film your question. We film the question, post it, put hashtag intern questions. And it was a huge hit. I got an email or a LinkedIn message this morning that's like, I love this guy from Seattle. He's like, I love your videos, but I especially love intern questions. That guy was awesome. So it's nothing that wouldn't have happened. Like that would have happened if I didn't post it. He didn't ask a question because we wanted to post. We filmed it and post what was already happening. And so that's the key, I think, to fit it into your schedule is look at the stuff that you're having, that's not proprietary, like not the client conversations, not where you're talking about deals and who's moving where and confidential information, but the other stuff. Maybe you're reviewing like the sales from last week. That's one thing we started doing. But those are just two ideas of things that you could post.
Okay. And it's funny, this morning, someone I think of, there's some really good people on social media if you want to follow brokers who are doing a good job in social media, number one, follow Matthew Laborde. You got to do that. Then you have his right spelling of his name in front of you. So do that. But also Beth Azor. I love what Beth does. AZOR. Barry Wolf. This morning he asked the question, or was maybe yesterday he asked the question, hey, do you have a standing desk or a sitting desk? Yeah. And what do you prefer to do? He got a lot of comments because look, that impacts everyone. Those comments didn't come just from brokers. They came from lawyers and insurance agents, from the audience you're trying to reach. So think outside the box of commercial real estate and what value, right, or concerns, issues they may have is certainly something you can do and you should do. Now, Matthew, do you ever right hook or do you always jab? And we'll get to that reference in a minute.
Yeah.
Are you always jabbing or do you ever right hook?
I right hook. Yeah, I right hook. So,
okay, what does that mean, Matthew?
I think I get confused which one is which, but essentially it's like you give, right? You're giving value. And then at some point, maybe you give selfishly, right? Selflessly. And then you, at some point, ask for business or you give the hook, like, hey, sign up for my email list or buy this property now or whatever it is. But that was, I think, did I do a good job of?
You did a great job. And the author of that book was Gary Vaynerchuk. And for those who do not follow Gary Vaynerchuk, Vaynerchuk is the right spelling, Gary Vaynerchuk, or look him up, Gary Vee. He is today's, well, I'll date myself, Matthew will have no idea when I say this. He's today's Lee Iacocca of my father's generation, Steve Jobs of my generation, and he is the marketing guru of Matthew's generation, Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm a fan, I'm a disciple. I have gone and spent invested thousands of dollars to sit with him and his team for a day just to figure out how to create a better social presence. Yes. In fact, I'm knock on wood, I'm actually meeting with one of his team members next week. We're psyched about that as well. So absolutely, jab means give, value oriented content, but absolutely right hook. You have to ask for business. You can't just give away a free thing every day. You have to ask for business. I think personally, the Massimo Group tends to right hook a little too much and our arms get tired. So we're really focusing more on just jabbing for a while and seeing what happens. So Matthew, the question here about, now you have a really good Facebook following. You've got a really nice LinkedIn following and interaction. What about the original one, I guess, for most of us was Twitter? I mean, is Twitter still something you use? And so how do you find it?
I never use Twitter.
Never use Twitter.
Elifin, so the company does. So our company marketing director is an incredible guy, and he's on everything from TikTok to Twitter to LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. But I just focus on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay, it's quick. And Rick, I see you're chatting. Rick, please put it in the question and answer box so we can make sure Matthew sees it and we all see it. So and Instagram is once in a while. I know you're not really as active there.
Never do it.
Never do it. Just because you don't think that's where your audience is?
I think it's a younger audience, and I mean, you can only do so much, right?
Right.
So I could do it all, but Facebook and LinkedIn is where there's so much to be had that I feel like I should concentrate on that right now.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think everyone out there, look, Instagram, absolutely, with their stories and everything else, there is a place for that. It's more visual, obviously. LinkedIn is more professional. It is. Facebook is more personal. Now, how about groups? LinkedIn groups. Do you use LinkedIn groups?
I don't. I
You
don't
don't.
at all.
Okay.
No. I mean, it's almost like a relic of the past, I think. So a lot of them are abandoned and you ask to join them and you never get responses, right? But those used to be a lot bigger than they are. The good thing about groups is a lot of times there's groups with a lot of people and you post on it and it'll notify everybody in their feed, not just their feed, but their notifications. If they're also in that group, they'll get a notification say, hey, Matthew just posted in this group.
Right.
That's the only thing I like about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you, groups work when they are worked. And that's the only way it was, like everything else, right? So we have one group on LinkedIn called CRE Mastery. A lot of you know about this webinar from that group. If you're not in it, that's actually a pretty vibrant group on LinkedIn. It's called CRE Mastery. So if you're not in it, check it out, join it. It's free. And we just talk about commercial real estate and share ideas. We don't share our listings and I need a tenant. No, we talk about business, building your business in the CRE Mastery. And then on Facebook, we have our own personal Massimo member group just for our clients, being our coaches. Then we also have another group there. I'm sorry, CRE Mastery is on Facebook. I have too many groups on Facebook.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
CRE Mastery is on Facebook. On LinkedIn, we have a group called CRE Coach, and that actually has a good following. But you're right, LinkedIn groups tend to be so passive, and no one's. It's called social media, but no one engages. It's
CRE Mastery. If you're not a member of that Facebook group, you need to be, because that's great stuff, great content.
Yeah, and we enjoy the interaction and the help people give one another in that group. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, CRE Coach on LinkedIn, it just isn't as vibrant. So it's funny how that socially works. We find, so example, we just engaged and invested with a digital agency that starts with us in November. This month we're doing the plan. We're putting 60% of our assets in LinkedIn. We're putting 30% in Facebook and 10% in Twitter, just because we know where our audience is. We know the messaging that works, and it helps us. Everyone, you're all different. You gotta know where your audience is and the messaging that works for your audience. Let's get to that, Matthew. How do you figure out what messaging resonates with your audience?
I guess the ultimate test is if you get business from it, right? So I think it's important to be authentic, right? And also not to judge the post before you post it. So don't talk yourself out of posting certain content. Don't micromanage your marketing director so that they don't post interesting stuff. They only post by the book stuff. You need to let them have some leeway to post interesting, creative things. But if it resonates by if you're getting business, if that phone's ringing.
Okay. Matthew, so I'm going to take some questions and then we're going to get back to you. Someone just asked, is TikTok a viable outfit for you? So Virgil wants to know about TikTok. Matthew, what do you know about TikTok?
Look, I think I'm the young guy, right? But I think we need somebody 15 maybe to answer this question. It's what those dang kids are on,
It's what if you don't know it, that's because you're Matthew's age or older, and that's fine. That's where all the kids go. But here's just something you gotta be cognizant of. At one time, we thought Facebook was dumb, right? We did.
Sure.
And we thought, Twitter, are you serious? Who the hell is going to do 140 characters and waste their time telling me where they had coffee? Dumb stuff. Instagram, really going to share a picture of my burger and people are going to care? Dumb stuff. Don't discount where the kids are looking today, because that goes full evolution, right? Kids now don't do Facebook as much. They never do LinkedIn, right? And not Twitter as much. Snapchat, I get. Instagram, definitely. Just TikTok seems to be the one people are talking about and may come to fruition to us one day. Maybe.
It looks like it's coming, so.
It looks like it's coming. And that's more video music oriented, very short video clips.
Yeah.
So that's what it tends to be.
Evolving. Yeah.
But
So,
for you all listening in, and those who get the recording, and this will continue to go in the future, this recording, for right now, I'm suggesting, Matthew, please correct me or tell me what you think. I'm thinking Facebook, yes. LinkedIn, absolutely. Twitter, yes. Any additions or subtractions from that?
I think 100% you got it right. Also, if you like to use another platform, if you want to experiment with TikTok, if you want to experiment with one of these, try it out. See for yourself. It's only going to make you better at posting content and getting more creative. So there's no harm in it.
Okay. Do you post video content? I know the answer because I've seen some of them.
Absolutely. It's the easiest, right? It's the easiest. So somebody asks you a question and you sit there and you answer it and then you post it. Pretty simple.
Yeah, that is, in fact, yesterday I was doing, look, this is something you all could do. I did something you all could do if you're in the commercial real estate industry. Yesterday I'm sitting in continuing education. We all think one day we all regret we have to go to. So although I don't transact anymore, I still have my license, and it's a CSAM event. So what I do, I grabbed someone and said, let's talk about CCIM. And we just posted it and it got some good comments.
Yeah.
Just a conversation. Easy stuff to post. Easy stuff to post. So think about where you are, who you're talking to. Hey, let's take a picture. I'll be giving a speech in New York in 2 weeks, and I'll be grabbing everyone saying, let's talk about the market. Let's post that as well. How do you grow your Facebook and LinkedIn profiles? Do you use personal account to invite your friends and connections to like your pages? Matthew, thoughts there?
Yeah, so I grow my personal page and also the company page. So I'll connect with anyone in Facebook and LinkedIn, right? I'll connect with anybody. It's all about business. It's all about creating that sphere that's going to see my posts. So I will connect with anybody. I think I have close to 5,000 connections on Facebook, close to 27,000 LinkedIn.
Whoa. Let's stop that right there.
Yeah.
Repeat that, because that number is so incredibly impressive for a young guy in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How many LinkedIn connections do you have?
27,000.
27,000.
Yeah.
Folks, just think about that. Go to your LinkedIn and see how many connections you have. Right?
Rod, should I tell them how, or should I wait till the event?
Nah, go ahead. Tell them right now how they did it.
Tell them now?
We'll wait. Okay. Hold on.
It's smart, but it's yeah. But they're real, it's the targeted group that I want. It's business owners in Baton Rouge. It's commercial real estate agents all over the country. So that you got to save that for the event. It's too good.
I'm answering some questions. We just live, so it's me typing. Do you use a posting program like a Hootsuite, TweetDeck, Sendable? Use any of those yourself?
I don't, because I guess I haven't looked into all of them, but the tagging is key. I think when you're tagging people and all these things and companies and your own company. From what I've experienced with some of those platforms, haven't really gone too deep in them, but it's hard to tag from those platforms. So and it stick throughout all the other platforms.
Yeah, and our team. Look, one thing I will get Matthew. Matthew, do you personally post?
Yes.
You still personally post. So
I post on my personal page.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And then the company page is our marketing director, Chase.
Right. And I think you all need to really clearly hear what he's saying. Do I personally post? Yeah, sometimes I do. Those who follow us on Massimo know sometimes it's running with Rod and we're on talking about when I'm out in the woods, but my team does everything. I mean, I create, they distribute. And our role as brokers is not to sit there and distribute content. That's not how we make our money. It isn't. So I will never suggest or coach someone to do it themselves. There are a lot of more talented people out there. They're a lot less expensive than you, which is they should be doing this and want to do this instead of you. Just remember that. So Matthew, given that, how much time, I'm answering some of the questions now, asking, how much time of the day do you spend on social media content?
So just like I said before, is I'm documenting, not creating. So I am documenting something that I'm doing already when I'm doing the posting, right? When I'm doing the really authentic, hey, this is what's going on. You know, this is the intern question. This is me reviewing the sales. I'm documenting something that I'm already doing that now I'm just holding a camera and doing it, right? So, and then I'm posting it right after. So I'm not spending that much time doing it at all. It's just documenting, and in the attributable portion to the social media is just posting.
Got it. Interesting question. This is the first one. And this is one I just don't, well, I'll answer it after you do. Are you concerned of other brokers following you and stealing your ideas and repositioning them as their own?
No, not at all.
Why not?
I think it's something that goes back to this last Massimo immersion that I was at, where Bob Knackel was talking, and Bob just laid out all of the secrets, right? I was taking notes the whole time, like how the brokerage is structured, how everything works. I'm like, oh my gosh, like my head was going to explode, right? And y'all said basically, you know, he's not worried. He'd tell everybody because he's the one putting in the work. So few people are willing to put in the work. And so it's like, come on, you want to do it? Do it, right? Do it.
I couldn't agree with you more. And you learned the lesson, Matthew, I'll share this, and I applaud you for this. You learned the lesson way before I did. I was always so tight to the vest with our Massimo methods and materials. And then I started saying to myself, what do I tell all my clients? That is, don't kid yourself, KID. By the way, I'll throw this out there.
Knowing isn't doing.
Knowing isn't doing. Knowing isn't doing. So if someone wants to take your ideas, good, work your butt off as hard as I do, or Matthew does, and congratulations, you beat me. You got me, right? If you want to take my stuff, I know where it came from.
And when you hold it all to the vest, you close to the vest, and you keep it behind curtains, then you're not getting any valuable content, and no one cares what you have to say anyway. They want the good stuff, right? They want the real raw, hey, this is valuable. And if you're hiding all that stuff, you're not going to get any traction with anybody.
Okay, Matthew, I'm going to take a, guys, bear with me. I apologize, ladies. That's my new, when I get excited with people like Matthew, I go back to my New York roots and say, hey guys. So I'm going to take a quick, and I promise everyone here, a quick timeout, because Matthew just referred to something about meeting Bob Knackel, who's one of the top producers in the world, him sharing everything and Matthew taking notes. I'm going to share with you right now, again, no more than 3 minutes, I promise, an opportunity you all have to meet Bob Knackel, Matthew Laborde, me, my team, and some other really high quality brokers in a special live event. In fact, it's our last live event of the year. And Matthew, if you can bear with me 1 second. Matthew, can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, so folks, this is CRE Ready 2020, CREReady2020.com. Write that down because I want you to evaluate if you believe an investment in yourself, in your business before the end of the year is going to put you in the best position to have your best year yet in 2020. So what CRE Ready 2020 is all about, it's a 2-day intense work, and we mean work, knowing isn't doing, workshop, where we're going to share with you our strategies to how you go out and find new business, all our proprietary coaching strategies that we share with our one-on-one and group clients. We're going to share with you during the 2-day workshop, as well as many of our personal marketing, social media presence initiatives, and how you craft that as well. That's one of the newest parts to this new thing. We're actually sharing that as well, both prospecting and presence, as well as a really tight value proposition, which will show you how to formulate, will create exponential production. We know that works. And we're going to be sharing it all during our live event, CRE Ready 2020. As Matthew mentioned, Bob Knackel is coming again. We do an evening event. In fact, Matthew, I think there was some alcohol consumption that evening, I believe.
A little bit.
A little bit. So it's a lot of fun, but we open the kimono. Bob shares exactly what he does as a top producing broker, how he does it, what his team does, and everything else. This was a sold out event in Dallas we had, some events in LA that we had earlier this year. And the point is, you'll see all the testimonials and where we are. It's going to be in Orlando, in November, mid-November, and during the slowest period of the season for the parks. So we actually have an opportunity for you to bring your families as well. So CRE Ready 2020, that's all I'm going to share you with, CREready2020.com. Here's the kicker. It's limited to 100 people. We know everyone buys in the last month. We're ready for it. We actually offered early on some free hotel rooms if you signed up early. As of today, we have 5 of those free hotel room packages left. That'll be included in your registration fee. So if you want to go, I'd sign up as soon as you get off with Matthew. Don't leave yet. Secondly, if you sign up before midnight tonight, and you use the promo code IAM ready, IAMREADY, I am ready, you get additional $500 off your registration. So that's the offer. I will share that with you in an email following this webinar, and you'll have an opportunity to join me, Matthew, Bob Knackle, a couple other folks, and get all our prospecting materials plus some of our presence materials, and put yourself in the best position to have 2020 be your best year yet. So Matthew, as I grab more questions, thank you for that all, for letting me share that. As I answer get some more questions for you, you've been there as an attendee, not necessarily as a panelist. Anything you want to reflect on why folks may want to consider going?
Well, besides you and Bob, Bob was just me being able to hear Bob and ask him questions and listen to how he grew his brokerage and sold it for what, like $100 million, Like it was pretty incredible. So not only that, but like the focus that I got from that week, from that 2 days, it was like, I knew exactly when I went back home, I knew exactly who I needed to call, how many times I needed to call them, what I needed to say, everything. And that's what it's brought to me, is the clarity, the focus.
Guys, well, thank you, Matthew. That's true. You will know who to call, what to say, how to say it, what to follow up with. You know everything in your playbook that we'll build for you should you decide to visit with us. By the way, I apologize for those who don't meet this this qualification. You must be in the business for a minimum of 3 years to join us. It just doesn't make sense. And the group we're having there, you have to be over 3 years in the business to join us. So let's move forward. Matthew, I'm here. Okay, so we talked about Twitter. Are there any other useful tools or apps that you use to support your success beyond social media, or including social media? What other tools do you use?
So I use Apto as a CRM. Our whole brokerage is built on Apto. We got a shared database. Love it. We use Build Out for our marketing. Love it. We use Constant Contact for our emails. As far as related to social media and posting content, I've got this app, I think it's called VLLO, that'll allow me to quickly put some different subtitles. Not the subtitles, those bars, bottom and top videos. It'll quickly let me do that. So when I was posting intern questions, that was a quick way where I can go from, hey, video to, it looks a little official, but doesn't take very much time. And I can do it all from my phone to posting. So VLLO.
VLLO. So if you're doing videos, you want to capture some content, putting some labeling, framing it. That's a really quick way. And I love that, VLLO. In fact, I have to write that down. One of my favorite apps, without a doubt, is Otter.ai, OTTER.ai. What it allows me to do is I run it in the background when I'm doing a vlog or a video somewhere, and it's capturing my voice. It's dictating everything going on. It's free. I buy the premium because I use it so often. But then here's what happens, folks, right? You've just created video, audio, text, vlog, blog, tweets, Instagram with a picture potentially, and yes, podcast material. We launched our podcast, the Massimo Show, last week, and I gotta tell you, it's amazing the progression, and we're seeing the velocity of people reviewing that now. So Everyone out there with some incredible guests, New York Times bestselling authors, professors in college. It's not just about commercial real estate. In fact, it's more about building your own personal practice and doing so in less time and getting more margin in your life. So check out the Massimo Show. Again, Otter let me do that with a podcast. And this tool, Zoom, which I know we use for these webinars, it captures audio, video, and actually transcribes the entire session. So there's a lot you can do that. Think about it. Now you upload that, SEO work, capturing things, driving to your website. A lot of tools you can use there. Okay, this is an obvious one. What about YouTube? Matthew, do you use YouTube?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So usually we use YouTube for our longer form content. So our longer clips that we take, maybe it's a podcast like webinar like this. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's an interview. Maybe it's a speech that I'm giving to a club. We'll take that, post the main piece of content on YouTube, and then we'll chop it up into little clips, and then we'll post that on all the different social media platforms.
I couldn't agree more. We do that as well. You all should have your own YouTube channel. It's just what you should have. There's integration with Facebook and LinkedIn. It's easy to do. Even Twitter, videos on Twitter. Somebody asked me about videos versus static. Do you have a preference, Matthew, video versus static, X% versus Y%, and how you post?
No, I just post. Just post. Don't overthink it. Just post.
I love it. That's the problem. Well, what do I do? I don't just post. Just post. So how often do you post? How many times do you post in a given day, week? You ever thought about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to post 100 times a day. That's the goal, right? The real answer is post as often as you can. We see it as a failure if we don't post at least once per day. So we post at least once per day, and then we're building on top of that, right? Including weekends, once a day, including weekends, because a lot of people look at social media on weekends, right? So once a day, and then we're building on top of that. We're probably up between the company page and my personal page. We're probably up two a day, 3 a day. If you post once a week, it's like a drop in the ocean. Nobody's going to hear you. You're not going to get any traction. So given that rhythm, given that, consistency, given that volume is key.
Okay, some great questions coming in. I just want to get a time check. Matthew, how are we doing on time on your end?
Doing great.
Okay, so I know we have a few minutes left. A lot of questions coming that are applicable to all of you, so stay tuned. Lewis asked from Asheville, North Carolina, do you use Snapchat?
I don't. No. I didn't like Snapchat too much, to be honest. I had all these friends that would message me, and it'd be the stupidest things. So I just don't. I don't have it. I do not use Snapchat.
And neither do we. We just don't think our audience is there, quite frankly. And it's just, as Matthew suggested earlier, and we agree, you can only manage so many accounts. So use your time wisely to manage the accounts where your audience is going to be, and you're going to have more interaction. Speaking of interaction, do you direct message people within LinkedIn?
I don't. Well, that's a good question. So the quick answer is no. I don't direct message people. We all get those spam like, hey, I'm a mortgage broker in California, and I'm and I don't think anybody reads that, right? Or maybe like 1 or 2 people, it makes it all worth it. But we don't, we experimented with having a virtual assistant do that, and the conversations just weren't that productive. So we stopped it. So
okay, I will commit to you that should you come to Orlando, I'll show you how to have conversations on LinkedIn that are productive, because there is ways to do that. And one simple one, folks, is here's a really easy one. If you post something and someone likes it, we all just keep on moving forward. It's like you said hi to someone, they said, hey, how you doing? And you kept on walking. That's exactly what you're doing. It's just, social media is the same thing today as I see Matthew's there in a hotel room where are you today? You're in, where again?
New Orleans.
You're in New Orleans in a hotel room. So can you imagine, Matthew, when you're in the group you're addressing today, someone said hello and you kept on walking? Would you do that?
No.
No. So if you post something and someone likes it, why would you keep walking? Instead, ask them, hey, thanks for liking this. What did you like about it? That's a key question. What did you like about it? Let them tell you, because guess what? That's the market telling you something that resonates with them, and therefore you can create more content based on what you're hearing from the market. Really important, you can not only create volume of content, which is one approach, but create really attractive quality content that resonates with your audience. The only way to do that in social media, we know this for a fact, you got to put a lot of content out there. A lot of folks won't like a lot of stuff you put out there. So what? But those that do, now you know what hits this week, this month, this year. So for example, we know, Matthew, see if you can guess one of the two. There are two themes, subjects that if we post on, they'll get read almost all the time. Name one of the two.
Commissions.
There you go. Definitely. Number one theme when we post as a commercial real estate coaching organization is how to increase commissions. You all eat it up. We know that, but we don't do that so often because it gets to us. It's like, okay, what else can we put out there? Let's learn. But number two, by the way, is how do I find more business? Prospecting is number two for us. It just is. That's a need in the community of commercial real estate brokers. It just is. So we learned about that essence as far as interacting and so forth. Matthew, do you post the same content on both Facebook and on LinkedIn?
Yes, absolutely. So the only difference between the two is if I have something personal, like let's say at the beach, right? I will leave that for Facebook. So, and I won't post that on LinkedIn, but everything else, if I'm at a charity fundraiser, if I'm at, the Rotary Club meeting, anything like that, that goes on both platforms. I don't distinguish. I let the platforms, react the way they want to react.
Yeah. And a lot of the theory, and again, this is, especially if you follow Gary Vee, he would suggest you got to reposition the messages for each platform based on the audience. So one way to do that is, yeah, if I'm out running with a t-shirt and talking to my members on Facebook and my friends, that's one thing. I'm not going to do that on LinkedIn because LinkedIn is just a different audience. It is. But the opposite works as well. So Matthew, would you post a professional piece on your personal page?
Absolutely.
You're damn right.
I think the key is just not to overthink it, right? I mean, let the market decide, right? Let your connections and let your audience decide what they find valuable, and just keep playing with it, and you'll find your niche, right? You'll find your voice, what resonates with people, and usually that's the most authentic, true, real thing, and it's being vulnerable.
It's so true. And we find when I post professional things, and I was very reluctant to do this at first, I didn't want my personal Facebook folks to really get inundated with Massimo Group stuff. I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Then I learned through years, you know what? They're giving me more feedback, potentially valuable feedback, than I can then take to the more professional side of LinkedIn. It just was, it was. I see what resonates with them.
One of the videos that we got the most traction on, we went for this $10 million listing, earlier on in the company, and we just weren't ready, right? And we had so much other business going on, and we just didn't prepare properly for it, right? We lost. We still gave a really good effort, right? But we didn't get the business. And after that, me and marketing director Chase were sitting in the office. We're like, we got to do more video content. We got to do more video content. I think he said, well, why don't we talk about the $10 million listing you just lost? I was like, what? I was like, all right, let's do it. And so he asked me some probing questions of why I thought we lost it and we posted it. And I had people from commercial real estate and not from commercial real estate just messaged me saying like, that was so great because, well, we owned it, we reacted the right way. It was my fault at the end of the day, right? But that loss turned out to a great, social media post content.
It's amazing. You think they say Facebook is a FOMO theory? You know what FOMO is, Matthew?
Of course.
What is it?
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. We only post the good things, right? We all know everyone's life isn't 100% good. It's a nature of the beast. So one day I was sitting, we had a really bad day at Massimo, and I was sitting on a bench during a run, and I stopped and I just went off on why we had such a bad day, where we failed. I couldn't believe the amount of comments I got saying, thank goodness you're not doing all sunshine and rainbows and unicorns here, right? That's not what it's about. Goes way back to the first thing Matthew said, and that is authenticity. Matthew, if you look at Matthew now, this is Matthew if you see him on the street. This is Matthew. Now, if you go to his Facebook account, and I'll make sure, what I'll do is because my team will craft emails to get to you all, I'll make sure we put Matthew's links in those emails so you can see what he does. But he does some pretty wild stuff that I'll be there, at 10 o'clock at night before I just going through Facebook and looking at Matthew going, all right, and go, what the hell is this? I love it. I love it. So it's great. Hey, we got a question though from South Africa. We just had to address this question. So surely all social media posts should link to content posted on your website. So traffic is driven to your website to push your search engine rankings, correct?
I would say no, definitely not, because that comes back to what we're talking about is jab, 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 right hook, whatever it is, right? People see through that. They see like a more corporate message. They see an ulterior motive and they judge it, and then they don't see authenticity, right? They think you're posting to get them to do something, not posting to give them value. And that's where you lose their trust, and it could work, right? But I would say no, keep that for certain posts where it makes sense.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. Look, if all you do is drive people to you, you're not, in fact, thinking about them. You're thinking about yourself. And in social media, truly the value becomes when you just give so much, people just naturally say they think of you. That's the point. Okay, Matthew, we're good for a couple more. We got so many questions, Matthew. Good for a couple more?
Of course.
Okay.
Do them all.
What's your call to action? Actually, the right hook. It's not a jab. The jabs are the gives. The right hook. It's a New York Times best-selling book by Gary Vaynerchuk. Jab, 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 right hook. Right. So, what is your call to action? Your ask. Do your LinkedIn and Facebook followers actually get in touch with you with a real estate need? So, Matthew, go ahead and answer that question.
So, I guess the first one: what is my jab, right? Or what is that call to action? Our typical call to actions, we have a weekly newsletter where we post all of the commercial sales in our market from the prior week, and goes out to our whole database. So when we post that on Mondays, we'll ask people, hey, look, if you're not getting the pulse, is what we call it, the pulse of the market. If you're not getting the pulse, email the pulse at elifinrealty.com and sign up, right? That's one of our call to actions. The other one is on Tuesdays, we'll post the commercial property of the week, and we'll ask people to go visit our website and check out this great property that we posted that week.
Got it.
The second question, have you ever gotten clients or whatever call you from social media posts to get business? The answer is absolutely yes. Yeah. So a lot of times though, so what the business you generate from social media isn't saying, hey, I saw your Facebook post, right? And I want to do business with you now. A lot of it is referrals. So we saw our referral business spike up because you're getting in front of a lot of different people. And when they get asked about who to use for commercial real estate, you're top of mind by posting consistently. But we have an example just yesterday. So it was a client, they saw our LinkedIn post, they followed us on LinkedIn. I asked everybody, right, how did you hear about us? He said, LinkedIn, and I called you. So he is an office developer, owns a portfolio of office buildings around our market. And
Matthew, you're back? You're back. Okay.
Good.
So you were saying you do get leads, mostly referrals from other brokers. Is that accurate?
Yes. So did y'all hear the story about the office?
No. But Matthew, we got to hold up on that story until Orlando. There you go. Hold on story. But here's something I will share with you. We get leads. We probably get 2 to 3 leads every week off LinkedIn. People saying, can you please connect with us with one of your program consultants regarding my needs from a coaching perspective to grow my business. Not as much on Facebook for us. Facebook, what we're learning is We're nurturing relationships more on Facebook, and we're actually having more conversions on LinkedIn. Now, again, it could just be our business model, but that's what we're finding. And I will tell you, we are really putting all our focus on LinkedIn conversations. And we'll talk about that in Orlando, but LinkedIn conversations, how do you do it? How do you generate it? How do you get nurture relationships from that standpoint? Okay, last question. It's a good one. I get inundated with these requests from Facebook to boost my post. Do you boost your posts?
Yes, yes, we boost our Facebook posts just strategically, we've one of our listings, big shopping center development, we've got thousands and thousands of square feet, available for lease. So we've got a targeted campaign where we boost and target people in a certain location. So yeah, we do boost. We just make sure there's a reason to boost and there's a target market that we're trying to hit.
Okay, I gotta ask, I have one question, Matthew. I'm sorry, they keep on coming in.
No,
It's a good question. Do you use LinkedIn Sales Navigator?
We do. So I canceled my account yesterday, but the way we got so many connections and everything, we had to have we had to have LinkedIn Navigator, essentially to send that many connection requests, like targeted connection requests. You had to have it. So we've had it forever. But just canceled it yesterday.
Yeah, and I will say we've used Sales Navigator. Our sales team has used it, and I think they used it for a couple months, got all the connections they needed to make their big push, and they canceled it. That's up to you how you use it. Is it a valuable tool if you use it correctly? Yeah. Now, Matthew, were you actually using Sales Navigator or someone on your team doing it?
It was a virtual assistant.
Yeah. Yep. And for us, we had a virtual assistant work with us on Sales Navigator as well. That's just, we had to do that. Okay. So with that said, someone asked about, do you use virtual assistants? Yes, we do. Here's what we're going to do. Matthew, first and foremost, I can't thank you enough for your valuable time. I know you're busy today in New Orleans. I want to thank you for dressing as sharp as I am. I don't know. I dress like you, actually. But everyone knows Matthew. I dress like Matthew today. Besides that, look, here's a gentleman who, full-time broker while attending college, top producer, saw the value in going off on his own, now has found the true value in leveraging social media. He posts regularly, consistently. He puts himself out there. More importantly, what you see in front of you is authentic. This is Matthew Laborde. It's just who he is, and it works. You need to be authentic in what you do. You must be, or social media will not work. It just won't. Be yourself, and then you'll be happy. Hey, what we're going to do is get this out to everyone. It'll be posted, by the way, this will be posted on CRE Mastery in the Facebook community. Go to CRE Mastery Group, join it, and you can watch this video there. Yes, it will be on social media, and we'll also get you all out some information in regards to our Orlando event on November 13th and 14th, I believe it is. You don't want to miss it. There are a limited number of seats left, and certainly a very limited number of seats with free hotel rooms included. Matthew, I'm going to see you in a few weeks in Orlando.
Yes, I cannot wait.
For everyone else, thank you very much. Take care.